Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever, where today we are on Adaptive Actavia. Actavia? Yeah, I think that's it. But enough about the map. Actually, not really. There's 13,000 reclaim. Very nice map. Team 1 at the top, Team 2 at the bottom. Let's go ahead and get into introducing our players. But before we do, like and subscribe. Let's start with the red player on the left. He is another caster and such a wonderful friend. He is, of course, a Red Seraphim, choosing the worst faction, but not according to him. Of course, he has very bad opinions, putting Aeon as his worst faction. Ugh. But his name is the Duelist. He's a fellow caster, and everybody show him some love. Moving on to the next player, a Red Cybran, a longtime supporter of the channel. His name is Snake Mister, and he has gone first land. Moving on to the next player, a yellow Aeon going by the name of the Aardvark, going first land, and he has chosen the best faction. Moving to his next ally, it is a blue player and yet another supporter of the channel. His name is Sergeant Syphilis, and he's gone UEF, and he has gone first land. Moving on to the last player for Team 1, we have ourselves a white Aeon by the name of Iconic going first land, and he is, of course, an Aeon, best faction. Then moving on to Team 2, we're going to start in the way back over here with the Gray Cybran going by the name of MSG going first land. Then his first ally, we have ourselves a pink Cybran going first land by the name of Hot Fog. Then we have ourselves a purple Cybran right next to him. A lot of Cybrans on Team 2 going first land by the name of the Kraken. And also I'd like to mention that is the same name as my favorite rum, Kraken Rum. Moving on to the brown Aeon going by the name of Lar going first air. And then last but not least for the entire game, we have a pink UEF going first lair by the name of Kanjiki no Yami. Kanjiki no Yami, and he's gone first air. And with that, of course, we have the map. It's a Navy map! Ooh, look at all this water, everybody! Look at the beautiful water! There's a bunch of reclaim around the map, as I said, 13,000. A lot of it on the big islands where most of the players spawned, but some of it scattered throughout the rest of the map. And, of course, we have the central channel here, and then we have some areas behind. Very big islands, but also pretty decent channels for moving your Navy around. I think Navy's going to have a big play in this, but also whoever can control the islands can have a really strong play of walking their comm through the channel and putting factories on the other side. So gonna have to keep an eye on both the land and the naval portion of this, not to mention air being pretty prevalent. Drops will be very useful on this map. And that's about it for the map. Other than that, we're looking at a pretty Joe-rated game. We have some really high-rated players, particularly MSG, going at an 1800 rating. And wait, where's this come? He's right here. And then on the lower end of the spectrum, we have ourselves the Kraken, who is only a 500. So a very high spread of rating amongst these players, but they will be able to get at it and start duking it out with each other. The Duelist already moving his comm to the central island. Gonna probably throw up a factory, and yep, gonna get a max. Just gonna expand this forward island. And we also have the same, but with an engineer now out from Kanji. We're gonna go with Kanji. I think that's how I'm gonna go with it. Or Yami. No Yami. Let's go with No Yami. That's so much more fun to say. We have a transport out pretty early from Lar. He's gonna be dropping right here to get himself some mass. He has another engineer on that transport, maybe dropping it somewhere else, I'm not sure. Aardvark pointing out the drop. We have scouting coming out from both sides. MSG has a lot of scouts in the air, and he's going to see everything everybody's doing. On the other side of things, we don't have as many scouts. Looks like it's just Sergeant Syphilis with a scout as of the moment. He's going to try and get as much information as he can with that one flying unit. And we have a frigate already built up by the Duelist and moving in towards the rear channel of Team 2. Gonna have to keep an eye on that Navy game. Already a very early naval factory out from the Duelist, but he's already assisting it, and he's already going to be getting a lot of mass extractors upgraded and a lot of naval units out in the field. Not quite the same focus on Navy out from the other players. I guess we do have a lot out from No Yami, already going up to a 3rd factory. And we do, of course, have a naval factory built up by Lar, so that's going to be significant. Stealth on the way for Hot Fog, but we haven't really had any major engagements other than the Duelist sending out this frigate. He's picked up a couple of engineers and, of course, a mechs, so that's going to be somewhat significant. He's going to wait for his 2nd frigate to show up before he presses any further into enemy territory. A very beautiful map. The naval channels having all of this. Looks like there's seaweed and grass underneath there. It's very different looking than most Navy maps, and I really like its aesthetics. We have a torpedo, a submarine torpedo, I guess. I don't know why I call it a torpedo. We have a submarine. More specifically, we have a Sylph out from Lar, and that's going to be able to help him drive off the frigates that are trying to assassinate, or not necessarily assassinate, but trying to harass both Hot Fog and MSG. Going to be able to get these frigates firing on some power generators. It's going to take them a while to die, especially if the submarine continues to split its focus of damage, but all of these power generators going down so early really going to hurt the economy of Hot Fog if he does not have another source of power built up very soon. MSG going to try and get in here and start using his comm to reclaim these frigates. The hydrocarbon being focused down now, that's going to be a huge hit, and Hot Fog, I'm sure, is about to start having power troubles. Yep, if this goes down, he will be power stalling and living off of his allies' overflow, but no, he does manage to get out of it. It does look like he's already technically in a power stall, but his teammates are overflowing just enough to kind of protect him on that front. In the central area, we do have some Thoms now out from the Duelist, being very aggressive between the frigates and the Thoms and getting his comm out to this secondary island very quickly. Going to be having a very strong showing as he pushes in towards his opponent. We can check right now. The conditions are, of course, full share, so it is less important to kill comms and more important to kill structures and the infrastructure of your opponents right now. We do have this frigate still getting shot at by the submarine, but not quite dying as of the moment. Torpedo now on the way for MSG, going to try and shut down this early frigate harass out from the Duelist, and we, of course, still have this fighting going on between the land units of both Hot Fog and the Duelist. Gonna need to focus on this a little bit is the Duelist, and, of course, Hot Fog gonna need to probably get his comm out over here. T2 on the way for Hot Fog. He already has stealth, so is going to be significant. Stealth in T2 means he cannot have a gun upgrade at the moment, so he will need to kind of be a little bit careful with his comm. He's not going to have the gun upgrade to deal with large amounts of units, but he will be able to get some damage done and deal with some of the spam by building turrets and the like. But now we do have, of course, the Duelist up here with his comm. These 3 factories out from Hot Fog looking like they're in jeopardy. The comm of the Aardvark going T2, and he's of course Aeon, so he can always just hover his Aurora and his Spirit Scouts across the channel, but he's going T2. Looks like he's going to try and establish a beachhead right here for Team 1. Team 2 now on the eastern side has, of course, Noyami, who's built up a sizable navy for this early on in the game, has multiple submarines and multiple frigates, is going to be able to fight off the navies of both Sergeant Syphilis and Iconic at the same time. So he is having a strong showing over here on the eastern side. In the central area, those 3 factories have finally gone down. The Duelist doing a great job of being aggressive, getting in here, and just shoving his units straight into the heart of the problem, which he does see as Hot Fog. Not Sergeant Syphilis, Snake Mister now showing up with his comm, so the Duelist and Snake Mister are going to be playing this very aggressive with their commanders, which is a good sign. We have the Kraken showing up with his commander, going to try and help out Hot Fog in getting this T2 upgrade, and then also provide that comm, which can kill about 20 tanks before going down. And when you have 2 comms right next to each other, the number, I think, actually goes up because the tanks die so much faster. So these 2 comms are going to be able to help each other out quite a little bit. Hot Fog has T2. He can start building T1 PD to just kind of stop the advance of the Duelist and Snake Mister. And the Duelist's units are kind of running out with these 2 comms finally throwing fire into the opposing units. The units for the Duelist going to be dissipating somewhat like a hot fog, you might say. And Hot Fog now building up a Cerberus turret to defend on the western naval side. 3 submarines really causing trouble for the frigates of the Duelist. The Duelist needs to produce some frigates of his own, or maybe he's just going to go T2 and straight 2 destroyers, which are very mass efficient into mass T1 torpedo subs. I don't know why I'm calling them torpedoes. The Duelist now under pressure. The Kraken now walking up, just firing his shots into him. The Duelist does not have any upgrades on the comms, so does need to be a bit careful. The Kraken now coming in with some Mantis in the background and some Sky Slammers for their little pitiful damage, but it isn't still damage. The Duelist not quite at 1 veterancy yet, but getting very close, up to 800 mass. Killed 857. He just needs to kill off a couple more units and he'll rank up in vet. And my game crashed. Alright everybody, we're back after the game crashing. We're a little bit before where the game crashed. Sorry about that. Hopefully it doesn't happen too often. This current patch of FAF is a little bit unstable and it's been crashing in normal games that I've been playing, and apparently it crashes in replays too, which is really annoying. But we're back to about where we were. We do have the Aardvark starting to push onto land with his Aurora. He's going to be creating a beachhead. He's acting like his D-Day, coming onto the shores with massive amphibious assaults. And he's building up an Oblivion T2 point defense. I would not do this. I would first build the Eruptor T1, because you're dealing with mostly T1 units. This is more of an area denial thing. The Oblivion not so good at killing T2 units on us, or T1 units. It kills them in one shot, but it doesn't kill them very quickly. The T1 PD a lot better at that. But still, this amphibious assault seeming like it's going to work. The Duelist now under pressure from a T2 point defense. I haven't really had time to talk about the navies, but Sergeant Syphilis and the Duelist have reached T2 Navy. We do have T2 Navy finished up now for No Yami, and we have T2 Navy finished up for LAR. So that should be an update on the Navy. Not really much going on in that respect anyways at the moment. The Duelist down to about 5,000 HP and falling back as there are more Cerberus being built up by Hot Fog. The Kraken kind of crumbling over here on the eastern side as the Aardvark getting a lot of leeway and a lot of headway on this main island against the units from the Kraken. T2 now on the way for the Kraken. Looks like both Hot Fog and the Kraken want to kind of use T2 PD to get through this. Regen Aura on the way for the Duelist. Very powerful upgrade, but he doesn't really have the units to really... I don't know, I guess the word would be warrant having Regen Aura. Sure, it's really nice, but you need a decent-sized army to make it work. He's gonna get it anyways. He's up to 44% and climbing pretty quickly. Probably gonna be done in about 30 seconds. He just needs to be careful. T2 land has finished up now for Hot Fog. He has a Rhino out on the field causing issues. We also have T2 land finished up for the Duelist, who's building Ilshibas to cause issues for Hot Fog. Snake Mister now coming in to try and help out his ally, as Hot Fog is going to be forced back with the comm of Snake Mister and the comm of the Duelist working together. Of course, that's 15 HP a second. People said that Regen Aura doesn't affect comms. Let's find out right now. Goes from 15 to still 15, so no more health regeneration for Snake Mister. It's still just the base 15. So, yep, they were right about that, and that's alright. The Duelist now repairing all of his units and all of his allies' units just by existing. Now on the eastern side, these PD were a very short but well-placed defense against the units out from the Aardvark. This T2 Mass Extractor is still going to survive. But the question is for how long. Does not take very much to kill off a T1 PD once you have factories on this side. He just needs to build a couple of mobile artillery, or even one, and send it by itself to go kill that off. The destroyer is now out for Sergeant Syphilis, going to be making their way forward, going to be killing off a bunch of frigates, and now going to be threatening the production lines of Noyami. So Noyami, who has T2 cruisers on the field, and is going to start throwing those mobile missiles at a triad. Does kill it. There is a tactical missile launcher out from the Sergeant Syphilis, and Aloha with 3 kills and 1 vet. Looks like it may have killed off. Yep, I think it killed off this mass extractor, but maybe something else. Or maybe a mass extractor in the main base. Yep, it killed off one in the main base. So he is threatening the economies of his opponents with that tactical missile launcher. Very nice build, very cheeky location for it. I do like that. And it's not currently launching, even though it has 3 missiles in the bank. And Noyami decides to control K. He's very upset. Glad I'm fighting 1v2 and you losing, and you are fighting 3v1 and losing. That is quite the salty player, but he is dead now. All of his base is going to be going over to MSG. His T2 HQ going to go down to the destroyers out from Sergeant Syphilis. And it looks as though oh my god, I missed it, but a gunship snipe out from all three players, including a whaler gunship out from MSG, manages to kill off both the Duelist and Snake Mister. So all of their base is going to be transferred over to probably Sergeant Syphilis, if I had to guess, but no, it was transferred over to the Aardvark. Now the Aardvark controlling half of the map. He is the lowest rated player still alive for Team 1, and he's going to need to make very good use of this. There's a destroyer out, MSG using the torpedo comm to try and deal with that. Yellow needs to start building Navy, and Yellow, of course, is the Aardvark. Aardvark now building Navy over here with his factories. He has 2 T2 factories, so he's going to be able to build both varieties of Seraphim and Cybran T2 units in the naval capacity. But MSG out here with the torpedo comm, getting up a lot of veterancy just by killing off all of these units. He's up to 3 vet, almost 4. Just off of killing frigates and destroyers, and that's going to be really significant. His comm's going to be a lot more tanky and a lot more difficult to kill, but he is playing very risky with his comm, and man, I can't believe I missed those gunship snipes, but I guess I'm just blind. Somebody in the comments is going to be like, you were looking at the guy who controlled Cade and gave all of his base to MSG. That was significant too, so fuck off. Maybe the game will crash again and we'll get a good look at it. Please don't, game. Please don't crash. Over on the eastern side, Sergeant Syphilis and Iconic push back a little bit. A bunch of pauses happening. And MSG now in the production line of... Whoa! He's reclaiming his own factory! Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Aardvark is reclaiming his own factory. Oh, that was... that had to be a misclick. You never reclaim your own factory. And air has really, really messed up Team 1. Those gunships were really unexpected, especially the T3 gunship. There's also 2 strategic bombers out on the field. I don't know if they've killed off any mass extractors. It looks like they did. And it looks like there was a nuclear explosion over here? Wait, why was there a nuclear explosion on the ground? I guess that could have been a strap bomber bomb, but still, that looked wrong. Also, still a little bit sick. Sorry about the coughing. Bricks now on the field in the middle. Aardvark pushing forward with mainly an Aurora force. He doesn't have T2 completed, but this is an area where you don't want to be pushing forward. His Asylum's going to help out, but not really going to do too terribly much. And MSG now over on the western side. He's walked his comm out of the water, and I just realized I've been casting on +1 speed this entire time. That was an idiotic move out of me. Was speeding up to get back to where we were whenever the game crashed. And now we have, of course, MSG getting shot at by a destroyer. He is going to go back underground, but the Aardvark has so much to work on right now. There are strat bombers coming in, killing off mass extractors by the double. And another strat bomb comes in. Doesn't manage to pick off that last mass extractor. We have now Swift Winds trying to combat this, but not quite able to. And MSG just running riot with these T3 air units, causing big issues for the Aardvark. The Aardvark now up to T3 mass on both of these 2 main bases, so he has a huge economy behind him, 268. He has more economy alone than any other player in the game, or any 2 players combined, so he is in a massive lead, even compared to MSG, who I thought was doing quite well economically. But Iconic and Aardvark doing really well on the reclaim, or not on the reclaim, but on the mass department, mass generation. As far as reclaim goes, Team 1 up by 12,000 reclaim. Doing quite well economically, but they just have less players. Both the Duelist and Snake Mister going down very early. Not super good for their health, for their long-term success, but these players still competent, and still it's anybody's game. Either side can win, be it MSG using his massive air advantage and his teammates on the ground using structures to try and combat everything. Lars has been gifted the main base of Noyami, who left just a little bit ago. And he's now trying to produce a navy to deal with his opponents. Oh, that Exodus is very dead. Multiple Exodus out from Iconic, now pushing in to the Eastern Naval Territories. And MSG still yet to get into the Navy game, but I guess it doesn't matter whenever you have a comm with torpedo that's just killing all of the enemy ships. Man, this torpedo comm, possibly the most effective torpedo comm I've ever seen. 35 kills and 17,000 mass killed, and that's about to go up to about 19. Let's see. Yep, 18.2 thousand, so still a lot of value from killing off destroyers. And he's going to continue to start killing off stuff. He's going to be killing off T1 anti-airs that have been built up by all of these engineers from the Aardvark. Do we have T3 air finishing up for anybody on Team 1? No, we don't. And a T3 strat bomber killing off a mass extractor and about to kill off the air HQ for Iconic. These strat bombers just not answered. Other than these swift winds, there's really not much dealing with those strat bombers, and they need to come up with a solution fast. Over here, the beachhead for the Aardvark is slowly dying. The terrain really fucking with these Oblivions. Not really able to deal any damage to those bricks as the terrain just doesn't allow it. And the brick's going to be able to clean up this beachhead that was built up so long ago by the Aardvark. The Aardvark has a ton of economy. Is he able to spend it? No, he's not. He's overflowing. May want to look into building an experimental, a GC right now. He could definitely afford it, especially with all of his mass stored up. 27,000 mass stored up is not insignificant. Needs to start looking at ways to end Team 2's seemingly progress. They're doing quite well for themselves. This eastern side with all of the Navy still a problem for Team 2, but Team 1 kind of looks like they're a bit lost. It doesn't seem like they have a clear strategy in mind, and they've been consistently losing territory ever since the Duelist and Snake Mister died. They're not doing well on these central islands anymore. The Aardvark is producing T3 units, but these T3 units will never be able to go across the water without a transport, so I don't know exactly what he expects out of that one. I'm afraid I need some help here. Lars asking for assistance in this southeastern channel as he's slowly getting forced out by Iconic and Sergeant Syphilis. We haven't really spoken much about Sergeant Syphilis, but he is controlling a large territory, and he is currently getting up to T3 mass extractors. A bunch of gunships now heading out to the west side, out from Hot Fog. Not sure if the gunships will be able to do anything. MSG forced back in onto land, and he's going to be walking back to his base from the looks of it. And economically, it seems as though Team 1 is massively ahead economically, but they're losing territory. They just don't have the units to combat what's coming at them. Do we have T3 air even on the way? No, we don't. It's just swift winds for now. And that is a bit dangerous, as T3 air can really be abused here soon. Another strat bomber, another Revenant coming on the way for MSG. A fight breaking out here in the southeastern side. And more units just dying to this concerted push out from Sergeant Syphilis and Iconic. What they lack in the air, they have made up for in the Navy, as they just continue to throw ships one after the other into Lar, and Lar unable to handle it. Trying to build Solaces, this is the wrong response. Build your T2 torpedo bombers. The T3 torpedo bombers are only really good for snipes on large health targets. They are not any better at killing off T2 ships, in my opinion. Mass for mass, you'll get more out of building the T2. Even if you have a T3 factory, you build the T2 so much faster, and you can get a lot of passes out. And the cruisers kind of kill the Solaces at the exact same rate, so you still need a lot of Solaces. I mean, it's still, one pass is a cruiser, so you only need 2 Solaces to kill off a cruiser, but it takes so long to build. Lar going to be trying to run away from this. MSG dropping the torpedo comm over here. This could be a bit risky because there's more destroyers over here, and they have torpedo, and they can just throw all of their targeting onto attacking that comm And the comm really not tanky enough to stand up to the concerted effort of these destroyers throwing the torpedoes in. Unfortunately, all the destroyers extremely low on health, so they're going to just die anyways. But the torpedoes going into MSG, bringing him down to 5,000 HP and falling. Needs to deal with these destroyers still. We have strat bombers coming out. They're going to drop bombs onto the destroyers. MSG going down to 2,000 health and falling. Is he going to be able to survive this? I think he is by the skin of his teeth, but that's just not enough. T3 air now achieved by Sergeant Syphilis, so the air game is no longer uncontested. Sergeant Syphilis getting into the air game and building wasps. Going to be able to kind of cover his teammates. But MSG, I think, has run out of time to use this torpedo comm. He needs to get into the Navy himself, or he needs to come up with a solution to all of the Navy coming out from his opponents. We have T2 Navy finished up for the Kraken, who's producing some destroyers and other things. T2 Navy also out from Hot Fog. On this western side, we have a ton of Barracudas and some Salems out from the Aardvark. The Aardvark producing a lot of T2 Navy, and he's now threatening the structures of Hot Fog over here on this most northwestern side of this main island. And this tactical missile launcher going to go down before even killing off one mass worth of stuff. Huge investment going down for almost nothing. He's going to try and keep building more and more tactical missile launchers, but this is just wasted mass at this point. Banger Flak will not protect you from Salem destroyers. The destroyer's having a little bit of trouble dealing with the terrain here, but once that's figured out, I'm sure they'll be able to kill off everything. Bricks in the channel, threatening to come onto land. There's a lot of Harbingers here, so I'm not super worried for the Aardvark. He does have T2 Miasma artillery going up, but I don't really know what that can hit other than naval units. That's not very particularly useful. All of these Barracudas are a huge threat, though, on this western side. The Barracuda is going to be able to really deal with a lot of the Navy. There's not very much Navy for Team 2. Team 1 has had Navy in spades the entire game, and Team 2 having trouble dealing with it. Team 1 very much so focused on achieving victory with their naval units, whereas Team 2 focused more on the air and on the ground, getting up to T3 ground very quickly, but not really abusing it per se. I don't see any strat bombers, or not strat bombers, any strategic launchers or anything of the sort going out of any of these players, but we do have a Fat Boy now on the way for Sergeant Syphilis. And the Aardvark has managed to re-expand over here, and he's up to T2 Navy with the Seraphim again, so we're going to have Seraphim units once again. We have now Gemini coming out, so we do have fighters finally out for the Aardvark, up to that T3 Air himself. And now the game has kind of stabilized, and it looks like Team 1 just has more economy, so they're going to have more of everything. Team 1 just kind of ahead. Even Sergeant Syphilis expanding over here to this island, which by all rights should belong to Team 1, or to Team 2. They had a player spawn here. Of course, no Yami deciding to control K is calm there. Bricks coming onto land, going to die immediately to the Mass Harbinger. And of course, Oblivions don't hurt. And MSG coming in with a massive strat snipe onto the Aardvark. That he has shield on the comm. Is it enough? Does look like it's going to be enough, but a second pass may be too much. We do have some ASF showing up now, but they're a little bit late to the party, as most of the strat bombers will get a second pass. Only 2 of them going to manage a second pass, but 6,000 HP, that's a little bit too close for comfort, but the ASF show up in time, the cruisers show up in time. MSG calls the GG. Is he going to control K here? Does not look like it. That 900. is playing better than a 1500. What the fuck? The Aardvark putting on a stunning show of things, as he's managed to use that shield upgrade to stay alive, and the Aardvark doing a great job in the Navy. I'm having a heart attack right now. Aardvark under a lot of pressure. Probably not in situations like this very often, but he's very happy to do this. And Sergeant Syphilis claiming his eye is killing him. Probably poured some beer in it, if I know if I know Sergeant Syphilis correctly. Either that, he has pink eye. which I'm not going to assume that. We do have destroyers over here for Iconic, starting to push forward. Iconic and Sergeant Syphilis, they've just kind of been winning the Navy over here, but not making any big plays. MSG has been the only player making massive plays. There's Laser on the way for MSG. Looks like he might be going for a telesnipe of some kind. At least you had no opponent. I have the tiniest base, got screwed. Iconic in the backline, building up quantum reactors and going to T3 air. Every player on Team 1 now going to have T3 air, so nobody's going to be like, you should have built air. Everybody built air. Aardvark, T3 air, T3 land, and T2 navy. 2 different types of T2 navy, in fact, so doing quite a good job with his economic advantage, up to 300 mass a second, and 700 versus 460 for Team 2. Team 2, as I said a little bit ago, they had the tech advantage for a short time, but now it just seems like they have less economy and everybody's at that late game T3 tech. It just seems like they're gonna lose because they have less shit, because more shit counters less shit, especially when both players are building the same shit. So Team 2 slowly getting constricted out of this game, and the Aardvark putting on a stunning show of things, running such a massive base all by himself. He is a 900 rated, but this goes to show you that rating isn't everything. Everybody has their different strong and weak points, and these players gonna need to come up with a strategy to win. At least Team 2's players are, because Team 2 is in a rough spot. As, oh brother, where art thou would be saying, what's his name? Other guys would have been saying, damn, we're in a tight spot. If you've seen Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, tell me in the comments. And tell me what your favorite quote from that movie is. It's such a quotable movie. T3 mass extractors going down for Lar. Such a painful sight. On the northern side, looks like some kind of air engagement happening, but no, in fact, it's just cruisers shooting down all of the ASF built by Hot Fog, who has achieved T3 air. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the game a little bit until something interesting happens. Teleporter on the way for MSG, constantly pausing as he needs to build more energy storage. Do we have... does the Aardvark... The Aardvark's in the water. Sergeant Syphilis isn't, but he has defense against Teleporter. Iconic has defense against Teleporter. I don't think this Teleporter is going to do a great job. 1 versus 2 and 0 help with top. Plan rush by the enemy comm. If doesn't work, suicide. Great. Alright. Well then. Lar's base completely destroyed. And Lar seemingly going to resign to his fate and walk into the torpedo barrages of all of these destroyers. Our next player to be ejected here at the 32-minute mark is Lar. He put up a good fight, but more Aeon destroyers beats less Aeon destroyers. And Sergeant Syphilis and Iconic claim a kill, and Lar goes down. Teleporter is finished up for MSG. His teleporter, laser, and T2 on the comm. Now, is he going to be able to put it to any kind of use? I don't know if he is scouted. I'm sure he would scout momentarily if he can, but it's looking pretty tombed for Team 2. Looked very good for a second there with the kills on the Sergeant Syphilis, or to Snake Mister and the Duelist, but overall looks like they're going to be strangled out of this game as Iconic uses his massive navy, and with the support of Sergeant Syphilis's much smaller navy, to destroy the main bases of both Hot Fog and the Kraken, who've been working together quite well all this game. And that's going to be the death of the Kraken. Looks like momentarily the Kraken down to very low health. One volley out from those destroyers will kill him. Oh, he's going to be able to make it to this small channel of water maybe. Nope, he does die. He control Ks, and that's going to be the end of the Kraken. And we have a teleport out somewhere. He teleported into the base of Iconic and kills off the base of Iconic, but Iconic just walks into the water. So that's not going to be a kill. I mean, killing him really wouldn't have mattered. All of his stuff would have just gone to the Aardvark, who is playing out of his mind currently. Hot Fog goes down to the navy of the Aardvark. and MSG is all that's left, and his comm is currently about to probably die in the back lines. Fatboy could even come over and try and kill him. And the Iconic left with a pitiful 45 mass as an economy, and he's built a Monkey Lord. Iconic, or MSG is possibly going to try and come for the late game win, but the Monkey Lord's only going to be able to kill off a few destroyers, honestly. There's enough destroyers here to kill off the Monkey Lord, or to just walk away and get out of range. MSG is still trying his heart out. He's now going to walk onto land in the backside of the base with a comm that has 94 kills and 95 kills and 49,000 mass killed. He's going to get up to 50,000 probably before he dies, but these T1 PD looking quite deadly. And he can't get any more veterancy, so that's the death of MSG. And with that, GG. Thank you all for watching. You've been beautiful. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you to the Duelist for providing this replay. I think also Snake Mister provided it, so thank you to you two. And you all are beautiful, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye!